Alright, so we're turning our attention to football now on the SportsMax zone. The second legs of the UEFA Champions League quarterfinals got underway early on Tuesday with two mouth-watering matches. Playing at the Olympic Stadium due to renovations at the Camp Nou, Spanish champions Barcelona carried over a 3-2 aggregate lead in their match against French champions Paris Saint-Germain. Let's take a look now as to how it unfolded.
Playing the longer game, you feel. There's the minimal to change that. He's done that past Nuno Mendes. And it's ended up in the back of the net.
You might see better from this one. Really good wing play. Oh, it looks like Hakimi's just touched it onto Rafinha. And it's ended up skidding
gone in
into the
off
net.
Rafinha in the end, hasn't it? Song with Pedri. Gundogan's playing a bit further forward. But Borussia getting some joy in midfield. And also here's a Barcelona. Now, the referee's got a big decision to make here. He's going to give it outside the area. No, it's denying a goal-scoring opportunity.
That arm goes across from Araujo.
It's not an attempt to play the ball, is it?
No, it's not an attempt to play the ball.
The problem for Barcelona, he was when he came on in the first leg. Here he is again. It flashes across, and it's thrashed in by Dembele. Of all people.
Dembele, top of the screen. Just arriving there. João Cancelo switches off. Just isn't aware of the run behind him. That is a brilliant finish.
He's hoping to make decent contact here, but they can work it short. Hakimi. Shot from Vitinha. It's a big moment for Paris Saint-Germain here in Barcelona.
As soon as that's played, you've got to now get out to the edge of the box. Someone's job, get out there quicker. Let them walk in. Lewandowski's walking out towards the ball. Sprint, get out there as fast as you can. And they don't, and they allow Vitinha to have a touch, have a look, and measure that, hit that sweetly.
It was a poor touch in the circumstances by Dembele, and then the challenge. He's given the penalty. João Cancelo thought the ball was there to be won after Dembele's first touch was not good. Here goes Kylian Mbappe, and he makes no mistake. He has his say in this quarter-final. Gundogan. Well, the break is on because everyone has pushed up as they have to do so. It's Hakimi, he's got support. It's Kylian Mbappe to settle it, but Ter Stegen keeps it alive. The follow-up from Marco Asensio. Mbappe, they've gifted it. And Kylian Mbappe has been on the periphery of much of this two games, really. Is the man who's settled it. There's no surprise in that, but he's come from the shadows, centre stage again, and that is the end for Barcelona and progress for Paris Saint-Germain. We talked about April in Paris in the first leg. It's April for Paris in this competition. He knows the job is done, and a huge personal result for him. It'll be a big report to fill in. But the bottom line is, for Luis Enrique, coming back to Barcelona, dignity up in the Tribune of Honour from Nasser Al-Khalifi, who's done so much to try and get Paris into holding up the trophy. Well, they've made a big step forward here against the odds.
The result there for PSG. Well, in the other quarter-final match on the day, they saw German outfit Borussia Dortmund looking to overturn a 2-1 first-leg deficit as they hosted Diego Simeone's Atletico Madrid. Here are the highlights.
Julian Brandt. He's got Adeyemi away on the left-hand side. Fulkrug in the middle. It's an early chance for Borussia Dortmund. It should have been buried by Sabitzer. By the evergreen Axel Witsel. And here's a chance on the counter as Morata got the pace to get away. He has. Can he put them ahead? Oh, what a finish, but it goes wide. Hummels looks for Brandt. Opportunity here, Witsel is there. It's squeezed into the back of the net. And Borussia Dortmund take the lead on the night and level the tie.
Here's the ball with the outside of the boot. He's onside. Julian Brandt 1v1 against Witzel. He goes past him easily.
5.5 to go in the first half. Sancho into the penalty area. Maatsen into the penalty area. It's Maatsen. It's 2-0. And they turn the tie on the head.
Across the goalkeeper again. Does Oblak get anything on it? No, he doesn't. Couldn't get any better than that from the left back. What a few minutes it's been for the home team.
The club a long time, 9 years now. Correa. Griezmann's corner kick all the way through. That's a free header at the back post, and that's an own goal. Off the hapless Mats Hummels. But there was far too much space at that far post area. And Atletico Madrid have tied the tie again. And
Goalkeeper starts to move across the goal. There it is, off Hummels. What a start to the second half for Atleti.
27 minutes to go. Atletico Madrid look physically the sharper team.
And they're creating more problems. Could be another one here.
Correa in a real difference on the outside of Schlotterbeck. Pulls it across just behind Griezmann. Ricami arriving, good save. Will it come out to Correa? Blocked on the line. It comes back out to Correa. And Atletico Madrid are back in the lead in the tie.
Good technique with the second volley. Gets underneath it. Gets over it just enough.
Sabitzer with a cross into the middle. And how about this? Unfashionable Nicholas Fulkrug puts Borussia Dortmund ahead on the night.
And it's a brilliant header. Just gets enough on it. Great leap, good timing. No chance for Oblak this time.
Long. Looking for Brandt. Fulkrug in the mix again. Sabitzer. Oh, it's 4-2 Dortmund. And they're ahead in the tie.
Again, Oblak gets a hand to it, but not a big enough hand. Oh, could he have done better? Maybe so, but it's a good strike from Sabitzer. He missed a chance in the first half. He's got a couple of goals at the weekend. But he's just put his team in front here on aggregate.
By Correa, was it? Oh, he's allowed him to go on. Borussia Dortmund will fume if Atletico Madrid score from this. Griezmann, we've had the 4 minutes of stoppage time. Last chance to the far post. Look at Ricami. And Maatsen cleared it away. The man whose mistake in the first few minutes cost him the first goal of the tie in the first leg. But he scored tonight and he gets the last touch, and Borussia Dortmund are through famously.
Borussia Dortmund there walking away with that win. Well, joining us now to recap the matches is our football analyst, Brent Sancho. Welcome back, Brent. You were on Champions League coverage, so it's perfect that we can have you on the zone now. Let's start with, of course, that Barcelona defeat by PSG. PSG coming from behind, Brent, and getting the job done. And this time, the man Kylian Mbappe, he was among the goals.
Yeah, certainly among the goals. I think the game hinged on the red card decision with Araujo. And I felt that once that happened, PSG took full control of the tie. And of course, when you get the likes of Dembele and Mbappe, etc., having the room, time and space to start to create and make things happen, it was only a matter of time that Barcelona started to collapse. I must say, Mariah, I am a bit disappointed in Barcelona in the sense that, yes, there was a red card, but they so easy capitulated. It was a bit I shouldn't say surprising, but it was a bit disappointing for me.
Yeah, was it a deserved red card, or do you have any reservations with what the referee decided?
No reservations whatsoever. I thought it was a red card. Again, you know, it's one of those as a former defender you don't like to see. I just felt Araujo positionally was in the wrong spot originally. His second mistake was his recovery run was at the wrong angle. He should have run back to the first post to try to cut off his pair. Right there, he went at the wrong angle, and I thought he was beaten for pace there. And once you collided into the attacker, there was really only one decision. He impeded the progress of the attacker. There's no dispute about it. There's no dispute that he was the last man in that situation. So unfortunately for Barcelona, it was a red card.
And Brent, the man I'm most disappointed in, Xavi. What say you on how he has been going about his business? Because he seems to be trying out for the award for most red cards as a coach.
Well, up until his announcement, he has had his challenges as a Barcelona manager. Of course, that announcement is him leaving at the end of the season. But things went well for them since that, and they've gone on a way. But he's a man under pressure. And when you look at his reaction, when you look at the sort of red cards he's gotten throughout the season, and even some of his tactical decisions, etc., it's a man under pressure and trying to deal and cope with the pressure. Obviously, he hasn't dealt with it because he's stepping on at the end of the season, and he's been put into this position. And I've said it many times on the Zone. He's been put into this position as head coach of Barcelona in a very pressurized position, and I don't think at this point in time he was the right selection. And because of that, he's obviously had to try to do things that he's not capable of doing, and hence the reason he's stepping aside at the end of the season.
Yeah, and just a quick flashback to the penalty call there, Brent, because I agree with you that Araujo sort of approached it badly, but some credit to Barcola, who pushed the ball in the direction across where Araujo was going and forced Arroyo into making a split decision, a spur of the moment decision, because the movement by Barcola, I thought, was deadly. Where he put the ball and where he ran to, I think it pressured Araujo into making a rash challenge.
Yeah, Lance, I was critical as to his recovery run. Him being Araujo, I felt he should have probably head back to the first post. But Araujo is a defender that strongly believes in his athleticism, and he strongly believes that when a defender believes in his athleticism, 9 times out of 10, his decision making is based on that. So he felt that he could have gotten ahead of Barcola. He felt that he would have won that foot race. Of course, we realized that he didn't, and hence the reason he was forced into colliding and collapsing into him. Once this initial mistakes were there, you realize his run was going out wide.
Yes.
That run should have never been going out wide. That run should have been straight back to the first post, because there was still a lot of work for Barcola to do to beat ter Stegen in goal, because he was way out, of course, in a bad angle. So for me, I would have gone straight back to the post. But then again, I'm talking as a retired defender, knowing I don't have the pace that I used to have before.
Yeah, I saw one review suggesting Dembele as the man of the match. Was he your man of the match?
He was better. I think it was, if you were to pick, I like the way Vitinha production was in the game as well, but he was one. But I'm difficult to be convinced on Dembele. As I said, it's one of the other things I say a lot of times on this program. He doesn't have an end product for me. And this game, yes, he did show flashes of it. But as I said, the red card decided this fixture. And I felt if it had 11v11, we probably would have been having a completely different conversation. But Dembele and Mbappe, of course, it was mentioned that probably Mbappe is the best player in the world. I just think that he doesn't have the entire skill set to be considered the best player in the world. And I think when you look at PSG and its sum and its whole, I still feel that they're lacking. But give credit where credit is due. Today was their day, and so they march on.
Yeah, and I want to go back to the first half an hour of the game, Brent, because I'm with you with the red card and how much it influenced the run of play, because Barcelona played an entire hour with 10 men because the red card was in the 29th minute. In the first half hour of the game, and the point at which Barcelona were leading, Lamine Yamal and the way he set up that first goal, brilliant, by the way, for this young player, showing a lot of confidence on the ball, cutting in from the right. But I thought PSG, to me, looked a little over anxious. They were playing at a very quick pace, but they appeared to be a little bit, to me, hasty in a lot of the plays that they were making, and they were making errors in the first half an hour of the game, I thought, because they were over anxious and the anxiety to get back into the tie.
Yeah, there certainly was an anxiety, and they started that way, and you're correct in suggesting that as well. And the goal as well, it's a good goal. Don't take, I mean, in terms of the run that Yamal make, and of course squaring the ball across. But when you look at the defensive position, that is hasty, because it was wrong. It was wrong positioning. It did not obviously give the defender an opportunity to stop Yamal from making the run, and that's the sort of situation that you saw throughout the game as it relates to PSG up until the red card. Because you're right, they looked like a team that was chasing a fixture. When you look at the scoreline coming into it, the 2-1, I felt they could have done a little bit better in some departments at PSG. Of course, it's all retrospective now, but at the same point in time, and that's why, and I guess that's what you're alluding to as well, Lance, is that if it wasn't for the red card, there's a very strong possibility that game would have probably gone another direction. Because of the way PSG started the game, they just did not look like a team that was understanding of what the tie needed. When Rafinha scored his goal, if you ask me who was the more likely to score after that, I would have suggested to you Barcelona. As we said from the start of this, of course, the red card changed the course of the game.
Yeah, and having said that, Brent, yes, PSG have gone through now and gone forward, but it for some people, it doesn't change the narrative that they do not look to have the quality to go all the way. Your thoughts on that?
Well, look, they don't have the quality. If we shook this bag up at the back of September and all the teams, PSG would not be in your top 4 teams to win the Champions League. That's for a fact. When you look at the draw, there is a chance because you would fancy them against this Dortmund team and coming out of that tie. And then you talk about a one-off football match that we all know could go any direction. Of course, many would point to the fact that the winner between Real Madrid and Manchester City could be a potential winner. But in a one-off football game, underdogs reign supreme. Over 2 legs, you may find the cricks and cracks that could make a favorite go through. And that's why I suggest PSG would beat Dortmund. But in the finals, if all it takes is a superhuman game from Kylian Mbappe, and that could be it, because he's one of those players, and I don't use this word a lot, but when he is unplayable, he is a superstar. He's an absolutely superhuman performance. So I just feel that if they are to get to the final, you can't count them out.
Yeah. And Brent, we're going to spend some time now on that Borussia Dortmund win, of course, against Atletico Madrid. They were able to turn around their fate and walk away with that win.
Yeah, I tell you what, it's so surprising to see Atletico Madrid give up so many goals in a Champions League tie. We talk so much of how well they and how resolute they are defensively. Yes, they're not the same strict, stingy team that they've been throughout, that we've known them in Champions League, because they've tried to add another facet of their game in terms of being better offensively and trying to put their foot on the ball and being a bit more progressive in how they approach things. However, to give up 4 goals is very, very, very un-Atletico type. And going into the game, of course, I didn't think Dortmund would have a chance because I felt Atletico Madrid would put up a big wall and a big curtain, and that would be the end of that. But they were porous today. And when you look at it, a lot of it is very much elementary defensive mistakes that cost them the game.
Yeah, and for Borussia Dortmund, what an achievement, their first Champions League semi-finals in 11 years. What would you say contributed to that win today, and of course, them of moving on to the next stage?
I think there was a high level of belief, and it probably goes back to the fact that Atletico Madrid does not have that overpowering, overshadowing impact that they normally used to have maybe 2-3 years ago in the Champions League. When you're coming up against an Atletico Madrid side, you know that you're coming into a tough game. You know what you expect in terms of the dark, as they say, the dark arts of the game from Atletico Madrid. But they don't have that substance anymore. And I think when you look at the first tie and the fact that Dortmund dominated the second half, it's very easy for Dortmund to jump on that plane and say, you know what, if we continue to play the way we did in the second half into this next time at home and in front of the yellow wall, we have every opportunity of getting a result. And that's exactly what transpired. They came out from the first minute believing that they can get a result. And Atletico Madrid just never showed up.
Yeah, and you know what? I agree with you, Brent. Madrid's disappointing defensive performance today, but that Fulkrug header in the 71st minute was a spanking header, wasn't it? It was brilliant, I thought.
Yeah, it was exceptional, and it shows the capabilities that you know the player has in putting the ball in the back of the net. Look, I was impressed in terms of what we saw throughout this game in terms of some of the ideas and concept in terms of offensively and how they played. That is a top-notch header. It's very difficult to understand how difficult this is to do, because first of all, you have to put the right amount of purchase on the ball. meaning how much you touch that football will determine where it goes. And the fact that he had the audacity, well, not the audacity, but he had the nous to be able to glance that to the back post and giving all back absolutely no chance. Yeah. That's next level stuff. And it really is an attribute to what we saw throughout from Dortmund. Yeah. The belief was there, and because they had such a high level of belief, I think they went away with this tie.
Yeah, Brent, that was a top draw header, I can say that for sure. And across from Sabitzer, the Austrian, who assisted to and then scored a scorcher himself.
Yeah, so much talk about Jadon Sancho and whether or not he returns to Manchester United. I wonder if there's going to have conversation about Sabitzer returning to Manchester. But no, he was outstanding today. It's 2 good assists. And listen, that's what we've seen, Lance, from Dortmund. Hot and cold. You just don't know what's going to happen. You don't know how they show up. When they are hot, they are a difficult team to play against, especially in Dortmund, where they feel that they have all capabilities of winning football games. And again, I go back to this 2-legged tie. The same way I've said that PSG is probably looking at Dortmund as an easy road to the final. Bet your bottom dollar that Dortmund probably feels the same way about PSG.
Yeah, I took the point that you made earlier on about Kylian Mbappe and the way on his day he can be an unplayable offensive player. But I think the Germans will plan for him, and I think that semi-final will be a humdinger. I guess I would say PSG would go in as favourites, but it's the kind of game that you know that Dortmund will go in with the kind of self-belief that they displayed today, and that one could go either way.
Look, I made this statement in the Champions League pre-game that I just don't think Kylian Mbappe is the world's best player right now because he doesn't present all of the skill sets necessary to be that person. A lot of his attributes is based on his pace, and once you're able to shut down, like Barcelona did in the first leg against PSG, shut down the space, crowd him out, he does go into a bit of a hiding. And I just feel that when you look at what we've had, and probably we've been spoiled for choices throughout the last decade or so in the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi and what they can do taking over football games. I just don't see it from Kylian Mbappe. However, I would say once he is in that mood, a la the World Cup final, which he just showed up a little bit short, if he's in that mood, he becomes unplayable. But can we say, Lance and Mariah, throughout the year and throughout this season, how many times we can point to that type of Kylian Mbappe? We haven't seen it much, and I just feel that you're not guaranteed to see it over a 2-legged tie against Dortmund, and because of that, Dortmund has every chance to progress.
Yeah, well, Brent, that's it for that aspect of the Champions League. We're asking you to stay with us because when we come back, we preview some big matches that will be on your Home of Champions tomorrow. So stay with us.